Most computers in our generation today have a user account configured after we purchase it. It's just that sometimes we want to do something on our computer, but we cannot do it because its capability is limited. Sometimes, we need to install an application related to our schoolworks. However, it cannot be installed due to the required elevated permission because the type of user account is not an administrator account. So this pretty cool video will give you the most useful tips so that you can do on your computer what you want it to do. Hello everyone, I'm Jeffrey Antonico Diaz and you're watching The Significance of Old School Technology. Using a standard account will prevent most manipulated malwares and other malicious programs from making changes to your Windows system. Administrator accounts are used by most of the users to perform tasks that require special permissions. Some of these are installing software and/or using advanced networking commands. So before we start our demonstration proper, let's talk about some of the most important terminologies related to this video. Administrator account. This account has complete control over your computer. This can change any settings and access all of the files and programs stored on your computer. The administrator account is disabled by default, but you can enable it. When it is enabled, the administrator account has full control of the computer, and it can assign user rights and access control permissions to users as necessary. This account must be used only for tasks that require administrative credentials. It is highly recommended that you set up this account to use a strong password. The administrator account is a member of the administrators group on the computer. The administrator account can never be deleted or removed from the administrators group, but it can be renamed or disabled because the administrator account is known to exist on many versions of Windows. Renaming or disabling this account will make it more difficult for malicious users to try and gain access to it. Note, although the administrator account is disabled, it can still be used to gain access to a computer through safe mode. Guest account. The guest account is used by people who do not have an actual account on the computer. A user whose account is disabled but not deleted can also use the guest account. The guest account does not require a password. The guest account is disabled by default, but you can enable it. You can set rights and permissions for the guest account just like any user account. By default, the guest account is a member of the default guest group, which allows a user to log on to a computer. Additional rights as well as any permissions must be granted to the guest group by a member of the administrators group. The guest account is disabled by default, and it is recommended that it stay disabled. Standard account. It can use most software and change system settings that don't affect other users or the security of your computer. The standard account is used for regularly accessed stations, but it has a limited capability. Users with standard user accounts can run most applications and save files, but cannot run applications with elevated permissions. This is the second part of enabling and disabling administrator account. So in this video, we're going to use the fourth method in enabling administrator account. But this is very different from what we have learned in the past because in this activity, we will use a third-party application. So let's start this by typing the assigned password for your account. Launch Command Interpreter with administrative privileges. In this case, since we're using a standard account, we cannot able to use Command Interpreter with elevated permission. Let's try to use some applications that can modify the type of currently logged on account. As you can see, the user account doesn't have elevated permission to modify the settings. Let's try another one. We will not give up until we get the appropriate solution. I think this is the solution to our problem. One or more errors occurred while recording group membership changes for user tsoost. Access is denied. Let us try to use it in some other way. Since the account has limited permission, what we are about to do now is to use third-party application called HirensBootCD. So before we proceed, let's talk about what is HirensBootCD and how this application works. As cited in Hiren's official website 2021, that HirensBootCD is an all-in-one bootable CD, capable of running complete utilities and uses a modern operating system on a computer without secondary storage, such as hard disk drive. In this case, we're going to use Mini Windows XP. The application that we are about to use is NTPWEdit Reset XP Vista 7 User Password. The location of some file is located in the system drive. Example, drive C:. Since we're using Mini Windows XP, the system drive was changed to another letter. But before that, let's talk about what is system drive and some file. System drive is the main hard disk partition that contains the operating system and other related system files. In Microsoft Windows operating systems, the C drive is represented as C:/. The backslash representing the root directory of the drive. Some file, commonly known as Security Account Manager, is a database file of Microsoft Windows operating system that stores users' passwords. Let's try to find the system drive where the SAM file is currently located. This is not the system drive. This is not the system drive. This is the system drive. Select Administrator Account and then click Unlock button. Click the Change Password button. Type your desired strong password and then click the OK button. Don't forget to save the settings to take effect the changes you have made. In this case, we're going to choose the administrator account. Type the assigned password for this account. This user account provides the most control over a computer and should only be used when necessary. Now, let us try to change the current type of tsoost account to administrator. Again, type the assigned password for this account. Now, let's try to launch Command Interpreter with elevated permission. As you can see, the option is now available. Let us now try to launch 3 applications with administrative privileges. As a keyboard guru, may the collection of videos uploaded to tsoost serve as an eye-opener that sometimes being technologically savvy is not an easy job. I hope you could see how important we are to the industry in the future. That's all for today. May God bless us all. Stay safe. And see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe.